So, I mean, it never hurts to ask questions, except he might get annoyed sometimes. Like, I'm the clarity questions queen. Like, if I don't understand something, I'm going to ask you 150 questions.
She will.
And I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to understand here.
Trying to get it.
Can you explain this? And sometimes he gets frustrated.
It makes
and
me
he
feel
would say,
like I'm speaking another language.
He was like, you know what? I think you're trying to be combative.
Like, no, I really don't understand.
I don't understand. Welcome to today's episode of Relationship Talk with the Guest. This is part 2 of the 10 strategies to improve communication skills. So if you haven't seen part 1, you might want to watch that one first. And look, your hand on your face.
What about them deep sighs?
My goodness. The sighs, the eyes, the head going around, this right here. All of that. Those are nonverbal cues that can really put a dent between your communication. You got to be mindful of your...
Yo, let me tell you about this, my fruit. Dude, let me tell you.
I'm so uncomfortable right now. So we gave out the first 5 strategies in part 1, and you definitely don't want to miss those. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, click the subscribe button now so that you'll get all the new content fresh off the press. So like we said, like in part 1 of improving communication skills, it's important in both personal and professional relationships. So for my note takers out there, get your pen and your paper ready, okay? So number 6 is be mindful of timing. Lord have mercy. Be mindful of timing. Choose the right time and place for important conversations.
Yes.
Avoid discussing sensitive topics when either party is stressed, distracted, or in a hurry. Create an environment that promotes open and focused communication.
Yes.
If you know, so look, women, you track your periods. Men, you need to be aware when it's time for a period. You do. That is not a good time to tackle anything serious. We are already uber annoyed. We are annoyed with the smell of certain food. Our kids make noise all the time. Today, they get on our nerves just to hear it. So if you come in here griping and complaining about something right now, we might bite your head off.
Turn into a dragon.
So we do need to do a better job of controlling that time. But if you already know that I'm annoyed, and he always knows. You know why he knows? Because I tell him.
She does.
It's almost time for my period.
Yep.
I'm annoyed right now for no reason.
Feeling annoyed.
I want you to know I'm communicating with you that I'm annoyed right now. And he always asks anyway, well, what's wrong? Nothing is wrong. Did I do something? Did I do something? No, you didn't.
Sometimes I need to know if it's me that's causing the annoyance or just annoyance to be annoying.
It's time for my period. I'm annoyed.
Okay.
And I try to communicate that. So if I'm hot or if I'm hungry, don't try to talk to me about anything because I'm not thinking clearly during this time.
You forgot the major one, sleepy.
Oh, please don't talk to me when I'm sleepy. Like, why would you do that? So hot, hungry, or sleepy, don't talk to me. Because if I'm sleepy, then that means I've already carried out the stress of the day. I've already dealt with these children. I've already probably cooked and cleaned the kitchen.
Right.
And this is not a good time for you to come to talk to me about nothing.
Right.
Leave me alone. And sometimes I have to just tell him that, Ed,
stop talking.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Now is not the time. So how would you communicate that now is not a good time to talk about something?
Again, this goes back to, I think, men not being able to project their weakness, trying to cover it up. So you don't ever want to say that, you know what, I'm not feeling strong right now. I'm feeling very vulnerable. I'm feeling irritable. Those are traditionally not manly things that people look at men. So you try to really mask them. And so we expect you to kind of know. And that's not fair. So yeah, men do have to have a communication mechanism, just like, hey, I'm gonna go in the room for a little bit. Like that's their signal that, you know what, he wants to be left alone. Hey, can you take the kids and go in another room? Or, you know what, can I just go, I just want to watch Sports Center for a little while.
Nah, don't say Sports Center. Tell the people what you've been watching.
Don't do that. See,
he does watch a lot of Sports Center, but I've been getting on him because
I like to relive my childhood sometimes. I'm gonna put me on blast before she put me on blast. I used to love this show called Justice League.
You used to love it.
I still love this show, Justice League. And they just put it back on Netflix. And you don't know how excited I got to see this show. I thought it had gone. And so I've been watching Justice League. And that's been such a great escape.
It's a cartoon that my kids don't want any parts of because it's like from the 70s.
I tried to put it on the kids. Like, the kids like this show.
I come in Saturday morning, my babies can't watch their cartoons because Ed sit up here with a bowl of cereal watching Justice League. He's sitting up here just eating. Now, not a regular bowl, a cake mix bowl of cereal.
Don't put me on bowl.
Watching Justice League. I don't know why I had to tell the people.
You did. You had to put me on bowl.
Because you was like watching Sports Center. So
I do watch Sports Center, but it ain't no sports like that.
But I really personally, from a woman's perspective, I think it's more manly to say those things. For you to speak up and say, look, this is what I need from you.
Right.
I need a break right now. Absolutely. I can't have this conversation. Right. I think it's, I'm pausing to try to choose my words carefully because what I wanted to say was more cowardly.
Right.
But what's a better way to say more cowardly? Right. And so this is the type of thing I have to work through because I mean more cowardly.
Right.
So what's a better way to say more cowardly? Help me out here because I can't think of anything and it'll take me a while.
More cowardly? You can't say cowardly. I think that is weakness. You can say weakness.
Okay.
Because a man wants to avoid weak. They don't want to be insulted. Cowardly is insulting. Weakness is something they don't want to feel.
Okay, so I feel like it shows more weakness when men just say, I'm going to press through and have a conversation. And then you ticked off and you're already irritable. And so you don't choose your words wisely.
Correct.
Or your tone or your body language.
Right.
And now the conversation goes to a bad place.
Right.
Because you weren't manly enough or strong enough to say, hey, this is not a good time for this.
This is not a good time. I'm dealing with this. And that's a good thing. Men need to get better. I'm dealing with this, so I can't talk right now. I'm dealing with something at work. I can't talk right now. I'm dealing with my brother. He's, frustrated me again.
And I'm feeling something in my shanana.
Go ahead.
If your partner tells you, baby, now is not a good time for us to talk about that, please respect that. Yeah. Because what I feel in my shanana, you gonna talk to me. We gonna talk about it. We will talk about it right now. Not a good time. Like you have to respect if they, are strong enough to say, hey, now it's not a good time. We will come back to it, just not right now. And then you do have to revisit it in a reasonable time. Don't be like maybe sometime next year.
Nah.
Take your break and then come back to it and have the conversation.
Right. Watch your episode of Justice League. Feel good about yourself. Then come back and
Justice League.
Justice League. I'm telling you, it's a good show. Y'all need to watch it.
Yeah. Next one. Practice constructive feedback. You gotta practice it. So when providing feedback, focus on the specific behavior or situation rather than attacking the person. Be specific. Offer suggestions for improvement and maintain a respectful tone, even during that. So constructive feedback encourages growth and fosters understanding. You can't, when you're giving feedback, focus on the issue at hand. You can't go digging from the past and be like, well, when your honor, I would like to call up what he did 6 years ago. Because it's relevant now. That's going to really overwhelm someone. So when you are giving feedback and you're encouraging growth, make sure that you say, okay, so like he just did. So don't So he was like, don't call a man, what was the word? Cowardly. Don't use cowardly. That's why I paused, because I know those are the conversations that we had. He was like, ooh, word choice.
Yes.
Let's choose something different.
Yes.
So I knew that cowardly would be one of those words, because we've been doing this work for some time. So
I got another one that's a good one.
Okay.
One of the things I've been doing to help with, stuff around the house is loading and unloading the dishwasher. You did a good job one day. You came in and saw how I loaded the dishwasher. I could see on your face, because she's a math whiz. She knows geometry, algebra, and spatial awareness is unbelievable. Like when she packs our luggage, I'm like, I can't fit this. I'll feel like, man, we can't get these 6 bags in. She'll not only get these 6 bags, but then 4 more bags. Like, you're very good. So you saw me load the dishwasher, and the look on your face was that right there. Like, oh my God, these dishes are not going to get clean. Like, everything on this top row.
he stresses me out so bad about this dishwasher. Like, I want y'all to, I wish I could take a picture and post. He'll just grab stuff.
Just fit it in there.
Just throw it in there. He don't care how it's turned. He don't care how a big pot is just in the middle, so now you can't fit nothing else on there.
Yeah, I have no idea how dishwashers work. I didn't know that there's a certain line. So she literally took the time, lined them up. Do you see how that works? I'm like, oh. And it literally clicked. So now I try to line it up that way. So I appreciate your patience, and like you said, like you were very constructive in the way you criticize. Like, you can't do it this way. You need to do it that way.
Cause he could have run that dishwasher 5 times and everything in there would have still been dirty. Like, and sometimes I think Ed don't be loading the dishwasher right, cause he know I'm gonna come behind him and fix it. So he was like, let me just put the stuff in here and let her come fix it. Because sometimes I don't think it's like spatial awareness.
Plead the fifth.
Like, he's trying to give it a name and like make it be like a math problem.
It is.
Hey, I'm gonna take the compliment.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take the compliment, because what you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, talking about constructive feedback, like, you can talk to your partner about ways to improve how they communicate with you without jabbing them.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Right.
So you want to avoid assumptions. Don't assume that you understand the other person's intentions or motivations. Instead, ask open-ended questions to gather more information and gain clarity. This helps prevent misunderstandings and allows for deeper understanding of their perspective. So, I mean, it never hurts to ask questions, except he might get annoyed sometimes. Like, I'm the clarity questions queen. Like, if I don't understand something, I'm going to ask you 150 questions.
You will.
And I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to understand here.
Trying to get it.
Can you explain this? And sometimes he gets frustrated.
It makes
and
me
he
feel
would say,
like I'm speaking another language.
He was like, you know what? I think you're trying to be combative.
Like, no, I really don't understand.
I don't understand. So, understanding is important.
It is.
Do whatever you have to do so that you understand, what your partner is saying.
Get the clarity that you need.
So, next, reflect on your communication. Take the time to reflect on your own communication patterns and habits. Identify areas where you can improve, such as interrupting others, using excessive jargon, or, failing to ask for clarification. So self-awareness is key to personal growth. So I think that the interrupting people is a big one. Because it's like you want to respond to what's being said so bad that after they say one thing, like, you can't wait. It's just, you just itching to get it in that you don't even hear the other part of what they have to say.
Right.
And then you just interject what you got to say. Right. It's like what that communicates is what I have to say is more important than what you have to say.
Right.
Because I don't respect your opinion enough to listen to it play out.
Right.
And so even though that might not be your intent, you might just not have the discipline to wait, but that is something that you can work on. Right. That's an area where you can grow. And I know that you can grow there because we have grown there.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
that was an issue for both of us. We definitely want to butt in and let our, opinion be heard.
And if that person didn't finish the thought, Now where you jumped in, instead of finishing the thought, now I'm responding to what you jumped in, and that original thought could have been a little more clarifying. And now we off on a tangent.
And then the other thing is that while you're learning and growing, you have to show each other some grace.
Yes.
So, if they interrupt you or butt in, instead of saying, "Oh, I can't get a word out. Like, I can't never finish my thought. You always trying to interrupt me." Like, instead of going there, what you could say is, "Bae, like, can I please just finish my thought?"
Yeah.
And then retreat and then continue. Yes. That's more beneficial than turning the table over, which is what it makes you want to do.
Yes.
So can you think of any areas of personal growth in your communication where you put in the work and you are definitely seeing a difference?
Excessive jargon, like you just said earlier.
Baby. See, I ain't want to say it. That's why you saw how I prompted that question. Tell us about that.
You know what it is. I talk a lot. And sometimes in my talking, I may start on one subject and I should end on that subject. But then I'll let that subject lead me to another subject. And you still hadn't told your side. And I'm like, well, you know what? And then this, and then this, and then this.
Because, baby, if you don't respectfully interrupt him, then you'll just be there all day listening.
Yeah.
And I might just say, do you mind if I respond to that before you move to something else?
Correct. Like that, you have to be made aware that, you know what, you have gone on to something.
And sometimes he'll say no when I ask him that. He'll be like, no, I got to say, okay.
Sometimes I feel like I got to get it all out. Sometimes. And I've gotten better at it.
I just be like, wake me up when you get through, because you be doing too much. Well, they say too much. You do too much.
So yeah, I've had to work on the excessive jargon.
And it's not just talking too much, like saying too many words to say like simple stuff.
Right.
Like so many words. Like you didn't have to say all that.
Do you want the chicken or do you want the fish? I didn't need to know about how you scored 42.
We ain't got to talk about how Mary had a little lamb. We talking about chicken and fish. We didn't even talk about veal.
Yeah.
But how we get on this?
Yeah.
How are we talking about basketball right now?
Yeah.
Chicken. I'm about to order the chicken from Popeyes. Or are we going to Captain D's? Like, it'd be so simple. It could all be so simple. But you'll what? Rather make it hard. I'm just saying. So, personal growth. Get in, recognize the areas where you could use improvement, and then do the work to get in there. Mm-hmm. Seek feedback. This one is important. Nobody wants feedback unless it's good feedback. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes.
When you get your paper graded, when you know you made 100, then they like, oh, pass the papers out. You like, oh, give me mine.
That's me.
The kids that failed the assignment, they might get them a 47. This is what they do. This is what they do. As soon as they get their paper, they fold it and then stuff it in the book bag.
Yep.
They don't want to read what we wrote on there. Because we really only want feedback when you about to say great things about us, when you about to brag on us.
Right.
But when we have some constructive feedback where you could be better, it's tough. And especially if you are seeking feedback from people that you admire and you really want to impress them.
Right.
So the goal is to ask for feedback from trusted individuals in your life, like your friends, your colleagues, coaches, or therapists, because they can provide some insight into how you communicate, and then they can offer suggestions for improvement. But are you ready to hear the suggestions? Don't ask people for feedback when you're just going to argue and justify what it is you do. If they tell you, you could really work on your tone. No, but I'm just doing this because I'm passionate or whatever. You should really watch your hand movements when you're talking to people, because it can be taken as aggressive. Oh, now you say, now because I'm a black woman, I'm aggressive? Like, you really need to watch who you calling aggressive. Or when they say, you should really, pay attention to your word choice, because it can be offensive. People out here so soft. Oh my goodness, you need to thicken your skin. So if you're gonna have, something to say about every suggestion, then you might not be ready to receive feedback. So get to a healthy place where you're able to receive it before seeking it out.
Yes.
Your partner can give you some good feedback as well. But you might think it's just you. Like you aren't able to accept the way I communicate. So talk to some other trusted people. You know, so you have to remember that effective communication is a skill that requires practice and continuous development. So by implementing these things and strategies, like you stay learning, you're open to learning, you can enhance your communication skills and build stronger relationships, all of those things. So how do you feel about talking to other people? Would you be comfortable at all talking to your closest friends or your brother or anybody about like how would you word it?
My brother is good. However, I have to admit he is Team Ed. So he's going to have a slight bias, but he's one that tells me the truth. So you got to have somebody that even though they may be on your team, they'll tell you the truth. It's best to have somebody that's not Team Maya or Team Ed that can give you the honest feedback, a pastor, a coach, somebody who's literally does this for many people. But it is good. If you have people in your corner that may be on your team but will still tell you the truth, they can be helpful too.
Because I'm not even talking about seeking feedback for specific relational issues. I'm talking about the way you communicate overall.
Right.
Like, so to ask people, like, when I'm talking to you, how do you experience me?
Right.
Like, do you think I communicate well?
Right.
If you had to come up with something that could make it better, what would that be? Who would you be comfortable talking to about that?
Well, I would talk to people that I'm responsible for speaking to. Like, I'm a coach, so I'll get feedback from my team, probably the captains, not necessarily everybody, because I know the young guys, they can't handle me when they first get there. So people who've been around me 2 and 3 years, I value their feedback a little more. Students that are well-spoken students, fellow teachers, they can give me an idea. So yeah, people that I work with.
So more work people than family people?
I would say so, yes. I would say so, yes.
Well, that might be a thing because a lot of family members share the same dysfunctional communication issues.
Yeah, my family.
Like it flows through families.
We all talk alike.
Because you're like, I didn't know that was an issue. Like I thought that was a thing that people do.
I did not know. I did not know how loud we were until you was like, I think you recorded us on the phone one time. I'm like, wow, we are screaming at each other on the phone.
Loud. So now that you have all 10 strategies, you have a solid foundation to start your journey of improving your communication skills. Now, there are 3 groups of people. Like one group will watch parts 1 and 2, and they're going to sniggle a little bit, they're going to have a good time, and then they're going to do absolutely nothing with this information. And so they'll continue communicating poorly, and I know that. But I don't think that you're in that group because you're still watching. So you're here because you want to be better, and you're ready to put the work in. So another group of people will tackle this, but they'll do it alone. You're going to take notes, write out the strategies, and try your very, very best to implement these strategies in your personal and professional relationships, which is amazing.
Yep, commendable.
But you may become a little distracted or discouraged along the way because you don't have proper support.
Right.
So my mentor, Dr. Darius Daniels, always says you can't be your best self by yourself. You need a community, a support system. So that's why we went into the lab to create Hear Me Out, Head, Ears, and Respect. So it's a 6-week program filled with fun and energetic weekly video guidance that will walk you through activating your heart, head, and hands as you learn to improve your communication skills. It comes with a downloadable workbook, which includes key quotes and notes that follow along with the videos. Then you got journal prompts and a workspace. There's an assessment. What is your communication style? And that helps you identify ways where you best give and receive information. There's a list of supportive affirmations that'll help you begin each day with positivity, a guide to overcoming common marital challenges, an active listening action plan, and you get access to our Facebook encouragement group. Like, we really want to personally partner with you to make sure that you implement these strategies and so many more so that communication is no longer on your list of relational issues. So now, this experience is valued well over $1,000. But we always want to over-deliver.
Yes.
So we're offering special pricing right now on our website. So if you're ready for a transformation, go right now to onevisionerc.com and get started with Hear Me Out today. It's listed under Marriage Tools, but it'll definitely be helpful for anyone looking to be a better communicator. So that website again is onevisionerc.com. Thank you so much for getting in here with us, and we hope that you have a great day, and I hope to see you soon.